the cat gang was some of the older fellas than what we were, but we used to sort of follow them around with, we might have been their sort of
gophers
type of thing, yeah. But they were just a gang that they had a swing down the river. They built a swing out over the river, just down past the old jetty, and we used to go down there, and they'd be down there, and then they used to get us to go out on the swing, and sometimes if you didn't get off on the way back in, you ended up hanging over the water on the swing. And they were like true, real good men they were. They used to chuck a rope out for us to grab hold of, but it always used to be so a bit short of getting hold of, and there could be 2 to 3 of us hanging on the swing, and one by one you would just get sore hands. You'd end up dropping into the water, which was only up to the waist anyway. But and then they used to down behind the old, where the boat ramp is now, that was all willows in there, and they and ourselves, we built a bit of a bicycle track around there, just for bike racing and things like that. And then somebody acquired some boats from somewhere, and there was 2 or 3 boats in the willows over there, and it was until the local policeman come around and wanted to know who had pinched the boats from the duck shooting plants at the lake, that nobody knew.
of course.
And the swing that was down the river, if I do remember rightly, Jim Hill, the local policeman at that time, he actually climbed the tree and cut the rope because of the people complained of the noise and the language coming from that particular area on mainly weekends.
Crikey.
But yeah, it was all a good fun thing. It was, nobody got into a really lot of trouble. Having a local policeman, they seemed to be always knew what was going on. I can always remember the bottle store where it was, across just down on the Water Street. On a Friday afternoon, I'd go down there with my father, and he would get a couple of jars for the weekend, and there was always a few, 2 or 3 of the old identities on a nice day would be sitting just round the back of it, having a couple of jars before they sort of got them refilled and away home by 6 o'clock or whatever it was at that time.
Yeah.
They're closing, they closed it up. But when the pub opened, the people that actually owned the pub, or run the pub, was Jack and Zena Stevenson, and they knew everybody, and there was not a, and then days you had to be 20 before you could go into the pub, and they knew all us young ones around the town, and there was no way you could ever go into the pub, because they would say, you're not old enough yet, come back when you're old enough. So we had to get older people to buy us a beer, or we had to go, sometimes we had to go as far as Henley to get a beer.
The things in Kai that I remember was kind of like things that happened in the town hall. There always used to be bazaars on the town hall, and there used to be on Guy Fawkes, they used to have a big paddock down by the wreck, like on the side of the wreck, and they'd have a huge big bonfire and lots of fireworks, and you'd have like egg and spoon races and things like that, so that was pretty cool.
You know, we used to go out on New Year's Eve, and we would go round, we'd walk all around, we wouldn't have the cars around, we'd walk all around, and we'd come home about 3 o'clock in the morning, and you know what we did? Went out and got all the veggies out the garden, the peas, the carrots, the onions and everything, and made stovies.
Now, can you tell me what stovies are?
Yeah, well, stovies are all made with your new potatoes and everything. There's new potatoes, and there's your fresh carrots, and there's onions, and there's peas, and, well, just all your mixed veggies in them, that was all. And my mum just used to put a wee bit of dripping and just a wee bit of dripping in
Yeah.
and a bit of water in them,
And just
and
cook them up.
just cook them up. My mum, yeah, she was always made these stovies, and this is what we did too. Oh, all of us out in the garden picking all these
At 3 o'clock in the
veggies.
morning.
2 or 3 o'clock in the morning after we'd come back from first footing. Oh God, you're singing our heads off. But they were the good old days, really. We used to camp down at Smith's Beach. We have our tents down there, and I always remember one time we'd all been down for a swim, like, you know, and we had a tent and the boys had their tent. And Florence, she used to be a hard case, and this Gilbert was getting just dressed one day. He just got out of his trunks, like, you know, and she came to his tent and she said, "Got ya!" And he's standing in the nude, grabbing his towel. Oh, we knew she was going to do it. You used to have some fun, really.